All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim and her pushing his gospel and truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is the brother Quanawath from the Arizona Great Millstone Camp, coming back at you, Lord will, with edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. And today, right, is what they're calling, Juneteenth, man. So that's ultimately what, this lesson is going to be centered around, just going in on some history around, Juneteenth and how, again, Juneteenth is, to celebrate our so-called freedom. But, hey, we're still in captivity, as the scriptures say, man. Right? Matter of fact, we'll start right there. Right? We're still in captivity, We'll pull up real quick. Right? As the scriptures say, man, we're not saved yet, man. We're still in captivity under Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, So let's grab this in Baruch. If I can find it real quick. It's like, I would have pulled up on my other phone, make it a little faster, but, I wanted to do this, on the screen so, brothers can see, just to say, right, it says in it's after Surah, as it says in Baruch, the 3rd chapter, right around the 8th verse, that we are yet this day in our captivity, So we just want to grab that. I think I passed it. Yeah, right here. This is Baruch chapter 3. There. It's Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. So we're still in captivity, man. Right? And it ultimately points out how we are, right? It says, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse. Right? We're still under the curses, right? According to Deuteronomy 28th chapter. That's a list of the curses beginning at verse 16 all the way down. Verse 15 states why we are under the curses, because we went off, man. This is why we're in the position today, man. Because we went off, and now one of the consequences, right, is going into captivity, man, which again, we are still in captivity, right? It says, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power, right, man? So again, we're still in captivity today, but yet they have a holiday, really a holiday, that is being celebrated, by our people, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics and Native Americans, right? Mainly the so-called blacks, right? The southern tribes, are celebrating Juneteenth, right? As it, in marks of, celebrating and saying that, hey, we're free, but yet we're not free, man. We are not free. We are still in captivity this very day, and we're gonna prove it, man. And I want to start right here. I got 2 articles. I got a couple pages out of this book, right, that I want to, ultimately get into, which is a very, very beautiful book, right? Rudolph R. Windsor. This Rudolph R. Windsor, right? Is this the same author that wrote the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, right? This is ultimately, the second book right after that, which a beautiful book, right? I would recommend it to any brother, go and read this book. But I have this article right here. It's on the whitehouse.org or .gov. It says, a proclamation on Juneteenth, Day of Observance, 2024. It says, and we're just going to read this first paragraph, or half of the first paragraph, right? It says, on June 19th, 1865, freedom finally came for the 250,000 enslaved people of Texas. That day, which will become known as Juneteenth, the army arrived to enforce what had already been the law of the land for 2.5 years, the Emancipation Proclamation, which, I have another article. It states that the Emancipation Proclamation never really even freed any slaves, man. Right? This is on the National Archives. It says, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, as the nation approached its third year of bloody civil war. The proclamation declared that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are and henceforth shall be free. Right? It says, despite this expansive wording, the Emancipation Proclamation was limited in many ways. Right? It applied only to states that seceded from the United States, leaving slavery untouched to the loyal border states, right? The southern states, right? The Confederacy, right? It says it also expressly exempted parts of the Confederacy, right? The southern secessionist states that had already come under northern control. Most important, the freedom it promised depended upon Union, right? The United States military victory, which was the North. Again, the North, right, was the Union, right? It says, although the Emancipation Proclamation did not end slavery in the nation, right? So it didn't end slavery, right? Which, majority of our people believe that, as soon as the Emancipation Proclamation came about, slavery was, over. But again, that's not the case, right? And we're going to read that more when we get into, the Valley of the Dry Bones, right? It says, moreover, it says, after January 1st, 1863, every advance of federal troops expanded the domain of freedom. Moreover, the proclamation announced the acceptance of black men into the Union Army and Navy, enabling the liberated to become liberators. By the end of the war, almost 200,000 black soldiers and sailors had fought for the Union and freedom, right? Which ultimately, again, it was, they never were free, right? Even in the, the war, right? They were still dealing with, racism and being treated like fucking animals, right? With even within, the military, right? The Union military, man, it says, from the first days of the Civil War, slaves had acted to secure their own liberty. The Emancipation Proclamation confirmed their insistence that the war for the Union must become a war for freedom. It added moral force to the Union cause and strengthened the Union both military and politically. At a milestone along the road to slavery's final destruction, the Emancipation Proclamation has assumed a place among the great documents of human freedom. Which again, right? It's not a great document, Again, it's just bullshit, man. Right? It was just basically a facade, right? It was a lie, right? Saying, oh, you people are free, but Esau, as the scriptures say, through his policy, he shall cause craft to prosper, right? There's Daniel's the 8th chapter, man, right? So he's passing laws which, ultimately, allow for him to, keep us in a state of slavery, right? Without having to, literally and physically, own us and beat us, he just, he ultimately changed, right, how slavery, is. And again, we're going to get into that real quick. Jumping into the Valley of the Dry Bones, right? It goes in on that, right? And we're going to jump to the 12th page. Right here it says, the hypocrisy of Andrew Johnson, right, which is the president immediately after, Abraham Lincoln, right? It says the hypocrisy of Andrew Johnson and the Northern Democrats, right? I'm going to read a few pages of this, right, just to ultimately build, and give some history, right, building up to, what it's talking about, right? It says, before the blood had dried completely on the battlefield, evil forces of the Democratic Party in the North and the South had united and were at work trying to undermine and preclude any black political control in the South. The chief leader of these Democrats was President Andrew Johnson himself, right, man? Right, which just shows you, right, both sides, right, Democrat and Republicans, right, they ultimately, work together, man. They're really just one party, right? But again, they have that, they're saying that they're two different parties, but again, right, they all have the same agenda at some point, right? It says Johnson was a Southerner. Having been born in North Carolina, he moved to the state of Tennessee, where he held quite a few political offices. By the time the Civil War began, he had already served in the White House served in the House of Representatives, and had been selected to the United States Senate. When the South seceded from the Union, the Southern politicians walked out of the Senate, and Johnson was the only Southerner to remain there. Right? It says when Lincoln became president, he appointed Johnson military governor of Tennessee, When President Lincoln ran for a second term, the Republican Party drafted Andrew Johnson as Lincoln's vice president. Lincoln and Johnson won the election of the Republican ticket, but Johnson never became a Republican. Right? It says finally Lincoln was assassinated on April 14th, 1865, and Johnson became the Democratic president, although he had been elected on the Republican ticket. Right? It says when Johnson became president of the United States, he immediately said treachery must be made infamous and traitors must be punished and impoverished. Right? It says this statement led many, especially the radical Republicans, Charles Sumner, Thaddeus Stevens, and others to believe that Johnson intended to deal harshly with the rebels. Punishing the rebels was the precise intention of the radical Republicans. But Johnson's harsh statement on the rebels was nothing but a smokescreen to conceal his true desire, the restoration of the ex-slaveholders to power. So even though, right, so-called, which Abraham Lincoln even had slaves himself, man, So, it wouldn't be, for him to sit there and say, we're going to abolish, slavery. And that means all the slaves that he had, right, would ultimately be gone, man. Right. So he wasn't going to, abolish slavery, But what they do, right, they basically came up with a document, right, that would make it to seem as if they were getting rid of slavery. But again, yet they weren't at all. Right. Again, they were just, basically changing the way it looked. And Andrew Johnson coming in, again, ultimately aided in that as well, right? It says, and to throw his opposition in Congress off guard. It says time has proven that this fact to be true. Moreover, his subsequent deeds and actions testified against him and against the Democratic Party north and south of the Mason-Dixon line. Right? It says within 3 months, President Johnson came into conflict with Congress. He made a complete about-face, asserting that the southern states had never been out of the Union, that the power to reconstruct the South belonged to the president and not to Congress, that there must be lenient terms for the rebelling states. So again, right, he's basically, coming to the aid of these southern states, man. This is the president, right, immediately after, Abraham Lincoln, man, and it just got worse from there, right? This is just 6 weeks after the assassination of Lincoln on May 29th, 1865, President Johnson issued his amnesty proclamation, which said all persons who had participated directly or indirectly in the rebellion, save certain groups, would have all their rights and properties, except the ownership of slaves, restored to them. So he's basically pardoning them, man, restored to them upon taking a loyalty pledge. It says those not pardoned, including Confederate government officials of the South, or those that deserted from military, judiciary, congressional, and civilian posts, or those who had brutalized black soldiers, or those who had an annual income of $20,000 or more who had been involved in the rebellion. This list only included a relatively small group of rebels, right? The majority of those rebels, the rest of the rebels were pardoned, right? It says, although Johnson's proclamation stated that Confederate officials would not be pardoned, he gave many of them an indirect pardon. Right? So this was achieved in this manner. Many of the top officials of the South were never brought to trial, including Jefferson Davis, president of the Confederacy, and Alexander Stephens, the vice president. In retrospect, it is obvious that Johnson and his supporters intended to reduce the black man to a status of semi-slavery. Right, so it was basically a state of slavery, right? They kept you as a possession still, right? There was just, a little bit more leniency in a sense, right? Which really there was no leniency. It was just straight bullshit, man. It's basically slavery, right? They're saying semi-slavery, you just get rid of the semi, right? It says which became known later as peonage and sharecropping. Which, we should, if you don't know about sharecropping, right, go and look it up, man, right? They also have, today you got the convict release program, right, is what it's called today, right? It says, and pardon the ex-slaveholders so that they could hold public office in the South and congressional seats. Johnson sought to keep the black man in a state of semi-slavery by returning the big plantations to the planters, instead of dividing up the plantations and distributing them to the black man, 40 acres and a mule, right? Which is ultimately what we were supposed to receive, right? As it says, or that we're supposed to receive 40 acres and a mule, right? But they never gave that to us. They still today have not given it to us, man. But that's okay, right? We don't want it, right? Because, the restitution is coming, right? The restitution is coming via Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, right? It says, this dire situation kept the black man destitute, landless, weak, with no place to go but remain on the plantations, living under the hostile yoke of the same slave masters to be exploited to the highest degree. So, they had no place to go, man. And again, it was because of these different laws and policies and statutes that were in place, right, that ultimately kept, the so-called black man in a state of slavery, man, right? It says, again, Johnson pardoned the rebels in order to enable the ex-slaveholders to sit in local, state, and federal governments, rendering them political power over the helpless blacks. Right? It says, after Andrew Johnson established all-white state government in the South, although 4 million blacks lived in these states, the white Southerners enacted black codes. Because of the stringency of these laws, many Northerners believed that their aims were to keep the black man in a status of involuntary servitude, which we're in today, man. Right? An involuntary servitude, right? It says, if not actual slavery. So again, we're still in slavery, right? We just read it in Baruch, and let's go to Deuteronomy, right? To prove, again, this is part of the curses, right? Us being, in a state of slavery, right? This is Deuteronomy. Let me find it real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 28. It says, Deuteronomy 28 and I'll start at verse 47. It says, because thou servest not, it's like, let me bring it closer. Right? It says, because thou servest not Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, right? Because again, we went off, right? We went to go follow after the ways of the heathens when Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai told us not to, Jeremiah 10:2, right? Verse 48 says, therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, right? So again, right, he made it, right? The Lord made it, right, to where we have to go to this damn devil in all things. And how did he do it, right? Putting this damn devil in power and having it to where he sets up these different laws, again, policies and so on and so forth, to where, we're not able to own anything, right? We just read, right, in the book that we were, we were landless, right? We were weak, right? We didn't have any place to go. We couldn't, really find any jobs, right? The places that we were at, we had to, yes, they did give us, some kind of wage, but it was very, very extremely little, man. Less than what we make now, So imagine that, right? And again, we still having to, go to these jobs, and serve this damn devil, right? In order to really have anything. And at this point with, inflation and so on and so forth, our situation is worse. Right before the scamdemic, yes, we had a little bit of money. We're able to do a couple things here and there, but now, you're not able to do anything. Now it's you literally have to go to work, come home, and you're not able to go and have fun and go out, and all this shit is just, it was jacked the hell up, man. But again, it's further proof, that we're still in captivity, right? It says, in the want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And that goes right back, right, to slavery, man. Right back to, the beginning of slavery, right, where they actually put yokes of iron upon, our necks, man, and which they do to us today, Unfortunately, my experience in this world, before I came into this truth, I landed myself, in this, jail system, and it was my first offense, man, and not to get too much into it, but that was my first offense. It was supposed to be a slap on the wrist, but nonetheless, they took my misdemeanor and put me in a place that was for felons, man. And I got to, unfortunately, experience the whole experience, man, being chained up, man. from basically from head to toe, man, and bro, I'm telling you, man, it's the same shit. Heavy ass steel, chains around your body, right? We're still going through that today, man. So how the fuck are we free? You got Jake over here celebrating, this so-called holiday, right? As if we're free, but we're not fucking free, man. We're still in captivity, right? This is part of the curses that we're reading. We read in Baruch, the 3rd chapter, right? That we be what? Basically subject to the curses, man. And this is a curse that we're still dealing with today. All these, right? Or majority of these, man. Right? We're still dealing with, man. That's all I want to grab on that. But I do want to read a little bit on this. Grab a couple more precepts, right? It says, where were we? Right. It says their aims were to keep the black man in a status of involuntary servitude, if not actual slavery. Blacks could not function as preachers without a license. They were not permitted to carry firearms. The blacks could not serve on juries, nor could they vote. They were denied the choice of approaching whites unasked, and they could not own land. Any white man, rich or poor, could arrest a black man. Severe work rules were enacted. Black laborers became known as servants, irrespective of sex, whether they worked indoor or outside, and the employers were known as masters. Employers could flog a laborer under 18 years old and older laborers by the mandate of a judge. Right? It says for the violation of working sites before the termination of their contract, they could be arrested and all costs charged against them. In the spring and summer, they worked from 12 to 16 hours a day, breaking our fucking backs, man. Scriptures say that they should wear out the saints, man, and they're still doing it today, man. Work us. They work a child to death, damn near. They would work a woman in very harsh and very labor intensive jobs. All this was going on. This is after the Emancipation Proclamation, man. This is after. This is what was still going on to our people, man. So how the fuck did the Emancipation Proclamation make us free, man? On June 19th, 1860. Bull fucking shit, man. Bull fucking shit. Right? It says when slavery was abolished, the Civil War came to an end. The freemen left the plantations to look for work in other places and to find scattered members of their families. New regulations sought to discourage this movement. Blacks were required to go to sleep at an early hour, right? We had a curfew, man, right? Which they still have, right? They call sundown towns, man. You can't be a so-called black man and go into these sundown towns past a certain time because Esau will kill your fucking ass, man, right? It says laborers who were missing from their jobs were fined. The amount was double their wages, right? So then you would be in a perpetual state of debt, man, because you didn't make enough. You didn't make enough to pay off these debts, man. And if they're charging you twice, double their wages, it's going to literally take you 2 fucking lifetimes just to pay it off, right? Because we understand that Esau, he does usury, man. He tax on usury, right? Which is against the scriptures, man. Usury, which is interest, right? We know that's how this damn devil works, man, especially when it comes to, credit cards, having a house, having a car, really anything you get from this damn devil, man. He tax on interest, right? It says if anyone ran away from his work, he could be arrested and hired out to other master employers. This was the beginning of the horrible peonage sharecropping system in the South. The concept was to bind the black man to the plantation like an inmate in a penal institution, as was accomplished under slavery. So it's the same exact shit, except now they're doing the same thing and calling and saying, hey, well, you're getting paid for it. You can go and buy whatever you want, right? As if it's some type of fucking freedom. Straight up fucking bullshit, man. This is how this damn devil got our people to think that they're free when they're not free at all, man. Right? We are yet this day in our captivity, man. And yet again, you got fucking Jake. You got Jake celebrating, a holiday, that's supposed to be celebrating their freedom, but yet they're still fucking slaves, man. It shows you how dumb Jake is, man. Let me grab this. I got a few precepts, man. And then we'll close out. This is Jeremiah chapter 10. Chapter 10 in verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen. Right? Learn not the way of the heathen. This is a so-called holiday that Esau created, man. Esau, created this holiday to ultimately, put you fucking Jakes back to fucking sleep. Oh, this damn devil's going to give us a day and it's going to be federally recognized and we don't have to go to work that day. Bro, one fucking day? They're saying that your ass is free, but yet you only get 1 day. 1 day out of the whole fucking year, man. That's it? That's what you fucking simple ass Jakes are fucking okay with? You okay with freedom for 1 day, man? Your ass got to go back to work. Your freedom ends as soon as you go back to work. You never were free in the first fucking place, man. The only time that we're going to be free is when Yahweh Shai comes back and delivers the elect of the nation of Israel, man. That's when the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right, will begin to be truly free. Because again, right now we're under our captivity, man. And as it says in Deuteronomy 28:68, right, no man shall buy you, right? No man is going to redeem us out of this captivity. Malcolm X couldn't. Martin Luther King couldn't. Nat Turner couldn't, right? All those big names, couldn't get us out of captivity, man. Hell, even Martin Luther King, he even admitted, he said, I'm afraid I enter my people into a burning building. Because he knew what he did, man. He was trying to create some type of, relation, right? Coexistence between the so-called black man and so-called white man. Creating for, speaking and asking for peace, right? Don't fight back, which, hey, we're not going to fight back, man. Right? We're going to let this damn devil have his rule until Yahweh Bashim Yal Shai take it away from him, man. Right? We're not gonna try to take it away, ourselves, right? We're not gonna get up arms, and try to take this damn devil down ourselves. That's what Yahweh Bashim Yal Shai is going to do, man. But he was trying to preach, basically not fighting, right? While Malcolm X is, preaching the opposite, right? Fight back, which eventually we will, right? As it says in Daniel's, right, 7 and 18, the saints shall take the kingdom, right, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So at some point, right, we're going to be fighting back against this damn devil, man, But it's not going to be until Yahweh Shai comes first, man, and we get the okay to fight back, And that's when this damn devil's going to fucking lose very bad, man. Because the elect men are going to have that spiritual power, man. And they're going to take it in the most violent way. We are going to take it in the most violent way under Yahweh Shai, man. Right? So again, we're not to learn, the ways of the heathen, celebrating these holidays, man. These false fucking, holidays, man. Again, they're holidays, man. That's what I call them, man. Right? So we're not supposed to be, fucking, again, we're not fucking free. So why would you celebrate something that, is supposed to, again, be celebrating or be because you were freed on that day when we were never free on that day, man. You fucking Jakes are fucking dumb as shit, man. Y'all don't read. Y'all don't do your own research. What does it say in Jeremiah? Let's grab it. Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 22. It says, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. When you go into NLT, or when you go into that word sottish, right, in the blue letter, it says stupid. Jake is stupid, man. Very fucking stupid. It says, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. And we're supposed to be following these high holy days that the Lord gave us, man. You know, which you can read, which I'm just going to read the header, right? But you can read in Leviticus, right? The 23rd chapter, and see the, you know, the list of the high holy days that we're supposed to, or a short list of the high holy days that we're supposed to be observing, man. You know? Right here. Pull it up. Right here, right? Leviticus chapter 23. And it says right here, this is the header. This is 16:11, by the way. But it says the feast of the Lord, the Sabbaths, the Passover, the sheaf of first fruits, the feast of Pentecost, the gleaning to be left for the poor, the feast of trumpets, the day of atonement, the feast of tabernacles. And that's what's listed just in this chapter, man. You know, these are some of the high holy days that we are to be keeping, man. You know, we're not supposed to be following. The Lord didn't say nothing about no damn fucking, you know, Juneteenth, man. You know, none of that shit, man. You know, so these are the high holy days we're supposed to be, you know, following. This is what the Lord commanded us to keep, right? His law, such commandments, right? These are part. This is in the law, right? This is a part of the law, right? These are the high holy days that we're supposed to be keeping, man. But again, Jake want to continue to follow after the ways of the heathens and celebrate some fucking wayward ass fucking goddamn holiday that is built around a lie, established based on a lie. We're not fucking free, man. We are in captivity still. Still to this day, we're in captivity, man. All right, so you Jakes got to wake the fuck up, man. Right, it's high time to wake out of sleep. All right, let's go to that, and we'll probably close out right there. All right, this is Romans. Fuck yeah. Romans chapter 13. Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now our salvation nearer than when we believed. Right? So that's right, man. Right? So we have to wake out of sleep, man. Right? Scripture say sleep not as others do, man. You know, so hey, we gotta, you know, hey, you gotta wake up, man. This shit that Esau is allowing you damn Jakes to celebrate, man. All he's doing is look and laughing at y'all, man. Cause he knows that y'all ain't free, man. He knows that y'all still fucking slaves, man. But y'all don't know it, man. You know, but hey, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua has got his men out here, you know, hey, telling y'all, man, showing y'all proof. Right? This is on the it said what? The whitehouse.gov, man. Whitehouse.gov. You could look it up. It tells you that the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free the slaves, man. Not once. But yeah, y'all think it did, man. All you have to do is look shit up, man. But Jake don't like to fucking read. Jake don't want to look shit up, you know? And this is why Jake dumb as hell, man. And Jake gonna continue to follow this damn devil, right? And that's gonna be the destruction of his ass, man. You know? As it says in Isaiah, man. He that both hoping, you know, and helpeth shall fall together, right? You know, roughly paraphrasing, man. So all you wicked ass Jakes, man, y'all gonna go down right along with, you know, Esau, Edom, you know, and America, man. Gonna be fucking destroyed because y'all wicked, man. You know, quit celebrating this fucking Juneteenth bullshit, man. Y'all ain't fucking free, man. You know, and that's the bottom line, man. You know, but Lord will was edifying. Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who very well, very beautifully. Again, double salutations to the I came out here pushing this gospel and truth and sincerity. Till next time, I say shalom.